Morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of London. Oh, good to see you here. And those who came out on a rainy day are in for a treat. We have a special speaker, a friend who's back, who's been long away in Panama. He'll be introduced later today, later this morning. We are grateful to be living in a wondrous country of Canada. And I also want to acknowledge today something that we don't usually do. I know that some Unity churches all over Canada do acknowledge every week, every single service, their Native Indigenous people. And today I want to do that. We acknowledge that we are gathered today on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Lenapewauk, and Attawandaron. This land of Canada continues to be home to diverse Indigenous people, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. And we recognize our Indigenous people as stewards of the land, and we are also stewards. All of us are contributors to society. The three Indigenous nations that are neighbors to London are the Chippewas of the Thames First Nation, Oneida Nation of the Thames, and the Munsee Delaware Nation, who all continue to live as sovereign nations with individual and unique languages, cultures, and customs. Our awareness means nothing without action. It's important that all of us take steps toward decolonizing practices. And at Unity, are we not about unity? Are we not about inviting, appreciating, and celebrating everyone, each individual? So I welcome you and I encourage you to consider that opening today. Our vision at Unity, and we could say it together, is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And how do we do that? We do it by co-creating with Spirit to transform lives through shared spiritual awakening. Co-creating. What an awesome calling. We're all one, and there are only three elements that separate us: egos, beliefs, and fears. And sometimes we don't want to acknowledge our fears, but they are there. We all have them. And by promoting our own self-expression, learning to express ourselves candidly, openly, fearlessly, we are an expression of self-love, and we encourage love in others. That's pretty special when you think of it. We have 5 principles at Unity. God is everywhere present, 24 hours a day, in us, as us, flowing through us, all around us. What a comfort. What a comfort that awareness of God is. We are an expression of the divine. We create the lives we have. We can be joy-filled, as you saw in that opening song. We can be uplifting, inspiring, positive, and encouraging. That's our choice. We pray in an affirmative way, affirming all that is good and releasing what is deterring us from all that good. And we live our message of love. We live it in what we say, what we do, and how we interact. Being the change Being the Change is about educating each other, inspiring each other, encouraging each other. And we coexist by providing fellowship. We do that after the service, before the service, between the services, and education for spiritual seekers in all walks of life. We do have some special announcements today. Our prayer chaplain, Dawn, is with us. Good to see you, Dawn. And Dawn's in the back. But she will be around the prayer chapel, our prayer room. It's like a chapel. Just walk through the fellowship up the stairs, and Wilda will be online.
Yeah, I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world, I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world, this is a place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. I see the joy. I see the joy in this world. In this world, I see the joy. I see the joy in this world. In this world, this is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. I'm living love every day. 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 Spreading peace along the way. Spreading peace along the way. Right time, right place. Living love every day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah. Right time, right place. Living love every day. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world, in this world, I am a light. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world, in this world, in this world. This is the place. This is the place. This is the time. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Now, hopefully that will bring light into your day today. Where there's not light outside, there's light in here. You notice that we have our prayer chest as always. And if there's anyone you want to pray for, to think of in an affirmative way, just put their name on the paper, put it into the chest. That will be prayed over by our prayer chaplains. Dawn sends out the names, the first names only, of everyone whose name is in that chest to Wilda, Sylvia, myself, and Dawn. And we hold those folks in prayer for the month, and then they are sent on to Silent Unity. If you want to pray yourself 24 hours a day, you can call Silent Unity. It's non-denominational. So no matter what faith you may practice outside unity, you can still call them. They listen patiently and quietly, confidentially, and they'll say, "How can I pray with you?" So it's a wondrous, wondrous service. We now take a moment to go into prayer ourselves. I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. We breathe in. Breathe in to divine awareness. Awareness of who we are and all that we bring to our world. Breathe in the loving, positive energy in this room. Breathe in the fellowship, the friendship, the mutual appreciation of unique talents. Breathe in everything that you need to calm your spirit and balance your mind. We hold in special prayer today all of our Unity of London members, those who may be traveling, those who may not feel well, those who are being challenged in many different ways. We affirm their strength, their courage, their resilience. We also hold in prayer this month Unity Spiritual Center Hamilton and Unity Worldwide Ministries. We affirm the courage of all those who have been displaced through fire, through flood, through war, that those people will feel within themselves some tiny spark of courage, of hope, that their rescuers, those who go to their aid, whether they are official rescuers or people like us sending assistance, will feel the compassion and empathy that is part of caring. We also hold in prayer today all families, children, parents, grandparents, that they may feel the circle of love. For these and all of your other prayers, we say, Amen. It's my pleasure to introduce our Vice President of Unity and also our platform assistant, Renee Saba.
Thank you, Pauline. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Today's daily word is guidance. I seek, trust, and follow my guidance. Seeking divine guidance means tuning out information and opinions and turning inward. Then, with an open heart and quiet mind, I can better feel the nudge of my intuition, my inner voice. I receive divine guidance much in the way flowers in a field soak up sunshine. Just as following the sun is innate for them, I have the instinct to trust my inner knowing. Even if my guidance surprises me, I trust it to lead me on the path to my highest good. I follow where I feel called to go. I heed the still, small voice within and pay particular attention to the serendipitous circumstances I find along the way. I seek, trust, and follow my guidance. As I do, I deepen my relationship with God, knowing wherever I go, I do not travel alone. The Lord will guide you continually. Isaiah 58:11. Our guest speaker is an author, coach, and writer. Nick Grimshawe's purpose is to help others to rediscover their unlimited potential. Nick helps people struggling with inner transformation to go from feeling stuck, frustrated, and dissatisfied with their lives to feeling positive, inspired, and filled with purpose without turning their lives upside down. Nick is the author of How to Write and Use Powerful Affirmations and course, Affirmations Masterclass. Please join me in welcoming Nick Grimshawe.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you for that introduction. Wow. Hello, everybody. Nice to see all your divine beings. It's wonderful to be here again up on this platform. And as I was listening to Pauline do the introduction this morning, I'm going, oh, I think she's covered everything I'm talking about today. So I don't. So today we're going to talk about, can I get the first slide up for me, please? Or oh, great, thank you. Today we're going to talk about 5 simple ways to deepen your power of understanding in your life. This is July. It's our month for delving into our power of understanding. And it's really a key power, as you'll learn as we continue on. So does anybody have an idea of what the power of understanding is all about? Anybody have an idea? Yes? Okay, very good. Reflecting is excellent. So if we look at Charles Fillmore talks a lot about the power of understanding, and he says the ability to know, to perceive, and apprehend. So there's 3 things there: the ability to know, perceive, and apprehend. And it's one of our spiritual faculties. It helps us see beyond appearances to reality. Why is that important? Well, if we are not capable of seeing beyond all this solid stuff, we can't see the power within us. We can't feel the presence of God that bubbles up from within us, that we are all expressing into the universe. So that's a really important part of the power of understanding. And the other important part of the power of understanding is that it allows us to incorporate or to integrate all the other powers, all the other 12 powers. So it's really key. And why does understanding do that? It's because we have knowledge and then we have understanding. So if you really look at understanding as applied knowledge, so we have knowledge, but until we can apply it, we can't really use it in our lives. And I want to give you an example of that. We know what a bike is. It has a couple of handles, some wheels, a seat, has a pedal. We know if we press on the pedals, it will move us forward. But how many remember the first time they rode a bike? Anybody remember that? What happened? It didn't go very smoothly, probably, because there are all these invisible laws of riding a bike that we don't see. There's learning to balance on those tiny little wheels that you have to balance on and learn how to keep yourself in equilibrium. Also, you have to learn not to press those handlebars too hard quickly, because poof, over the handlebars you go, right? This is the power of understanding at work. Does anybody know who the disciple is that's related to the power of understanding? Anybody? Thomas is the disciple that's related to the power of understanding, and for really good reason. Thomas has 2 big attributes that make him ideal for the power of understanding. And one of those attributes is to ask questions. So reflection, as Rennie said. So when we ask questions, we set in motion this whole thing with the universe is going to start looking for our answers. So that is the one thing. And Thomas bugged Jesus constantly. He was kind of a pain in the ass, if you want to go that way. Because why are we doing this, Jesus? Why are we going over there? Why are you doing that? Why are you saying that? All the time. But Jesus appreciated that from Thomas, and he also appreciated the other attributes. So there's the 2 attributes. The other one is listening. Thomas listened to the answers that Jesus gave. So you can ask questions If you don't listen, you don't get any answers. So we're going to go into that a little more deeply as we move through our slides today. Anybody know the color for the power of understanding? The color is gold. And I did a lot of research on this, and I couldn't find anything definitive as to why the color gold is chosen, but we can kind of intuit. Gold is a really valuable commodity. And because it's valuable, it represents the value of understanding, the power of understanding, because that power allows us to integrate all the other powers. Okay, so then what can the power of understanding do for us? Why is it important to us? And we kind of talked about this. Number one, it allows us to see beyond appearances. And we don't go anywhere until we can see beyond the appearances. So this is our appearance here. But the power behind that, unless we delve deeper into understanding, we can't process that idea of the divine within us. It helps us discern between good and evil. And this gives us the power of good judgment, to make good decisions, to ask good questions. It also deepens our spiritual growth, and it integrates our heart and our mind. So with spiritual growth, if we're not asking questions, if we're not listening for the answers, there isn't any growth. And it's really important for everybody here. We've been working this, we've been doing the work for a long time, slowly building up our spiritual powers, our understanding of spiritual laws. That's really important. And the integration of heart and mind, you can think of it as mind as knowledge, heart as understanding. Because here we have knowledge, and if we don't do anything with that, what good is it? It doesn't really help us. So knowledge, understanding, it's all about application, and I'm kind of anal about application. So with all my coaching students and my subscribers, that's something I talk about a lot. So let me see, we go on. So the constantly asking questions and listening for the answers are the most important thing that we can do. So I have a handout to give you all after, if you come and see me after the talk. And in it, I have 2 links to something I think will really help. One of them is a core value assessment. And it'll help you understand what are those values you live by every day. What do you present to the world every day? What are those values that you're living by? And it's always good to review and understand what they are, and they'll come up with about 5 powers for you. The other one, which is, I think, awesome, is a character strength assessment. Do you know your character strengths? You do this questionnaire, and I have a link to go in and do this questionnaire online. It takes about 20 minutes. And when you're done, they'll email you your 5 character strengths. And what I recommend you do then with your core values and your 5 character strengths is to take that into journaling and ask questions. Why is that a core strength? How do I show up with that in my life every day? What is my character strength? Why is that a character strength for me? How do I manifest that to the world? Okay, so let me go further. So one of the things that I suggest again is I call it the first step is the questioning and listening. And most of us don't listen very well. We're pretty good at asking questions. So has anybody tried this? You go to bed at night and you've got a problem on your mind. You have a question. There's something bugging you. You haven't been able to figure it out. And you decide to surrender that to the power within you, the divine spirit. And you go, okay, I'm going to hand this over to you tonight. And I would like to figure out what the answer is to this problem. You go to bed, you go to sleep. And when you get up in the morning, the answer is there. How many have experienced that? Hands up, anybody? Yes, excellent. That is the power of asking questions. The one about listening is because we don't listen well. We tend to be caught up in our own minds. And so that chatter is going on up there and we're not listening very well. An example of that, you've probably all experienced this as well. You sit down with a friend and you're talking back and forth and they ask you a question and you go, oh, I got this great answer for this and I can really give some really good stuff. So you're talking to them and you notice then they're like slightly doing this and they've got a text on their telephone. Anybody experience that? I certainly have. So they're trying to look at the text and not trying to stay paying attention to you. We need to cultivate time in our lives, in our everyday lives, to allow us to listen to the voice that's coming to us that is the answer to our questions. It's important to find a space every day, a quiet space, to listen for the answers, because we get so easily distracted. This world is crazy for distractions, and it's really easy to get pulled aside. So try to cultivate a place in your day where you sit quietly and listen for the answers, because the answers aren't always like loud and clear. It's usually a whisper in your ear. So the next suggestion I have for deepening your power of understanding is mindfulness. And everybody gets kind of caught up about what mindfulness is, but it's simply noticing. And why is that important in our lives? Recently, I was reading Atomic Habits, and in there he talks about around the age 30, we are living most or 50% of our life is on automatic. Is that kind of scary? Does that sound scary? It's scary that we are on automatic for so much of our time. One of the things, there is a benefit to being on automatic, because if you're driving a car, you don't want to have to learn how to drive a car all over again every time you get into the car. But how many have had this experience? You're on your daily commute, and you drive home, you get out of your car, and you go, oh my God, I don't remember going over the 4th Street Bridge. You go over it every day. You don't remember. How many have had that experience driving? Everybody. That's being on automatic. So what mindfulness does is it forces us or helps us come into the present and to actually notice the world around us. And why is that important? Again, because we need to get beyond appearances. If we're living in automatic, we are not noticing anything. We're not going to hear the messages. So there are a couple of easy things to do. Number one is walk. Take a walk and purposefully notice. Not, oh yeah, there's another tree. No, look at that tree. Look at the shape. Look at the form. Look at the way the branches of this tree have formed. It's a miracle. It's seen beyond the appearance to the love behind it. That's why mindfulness can really help us deepen our power of understanding. And journaling. questioning yourself. What did I notice about myself today? And then writing about it, deepening your understanding. The third way to help develop your understanding is to find a mentor. How many here are prayer partners, have prayer partners? Anybody here have a prayer partner? Okay. One of the things I highly recommend is to find somebody you can partner with. It doesn't have to be prayer, a study partner, anything like that. A partner that you can work with every day, and not every day, but twice a week at least. I have a prayer partner, Diane Weston. I love her to pieces because I met her 5 or 6 years ago at a prayer chaplain retreat. And we have been talking ever since, 2 days a week for 1 hour on Zoom. And it's, except for rare occasions when I'm traveling or she's traveling, we are studying books. We are learning about prayer. We're taking our knowledge deeper, our understanding deeper. And what you get from that interaction is amazing. And I can't tell you how many amazing experiences we've had doing that. So if you're looking for somebody to partner up with, put your name on the board out here. Say you're looking for a partner, prayer partner, somebody to do a book study with. It doesn't have to be anything major, but it's really important to take that deeper. The next one is to open yourself up to other spiritual ideas, models of thinking, to look wider than just unity. And unity is pretty good for having a very expansive view of the masters who have come before us to teach us. But we don't want to blinker ourselves and go, oh, I'm just unity. You want to be way out there. The more you are open to ideas and different things, the more you engage the power of serendipity. And I think it's really important that we read widely. And Pauline was talking about reading something light when she was camping. That's really awesome, because you never know when something you're reading here, it could be a murder mystery, and you're also reading a piece of spiritual literature, and bingo, these two different ideas come together, and it's like magic. And it's like an aha moment. And it's really magical when it happens. So make sure that you are giving yourself the widest possible view of the world and not restrict yourself to any one thing. And then there's the next one is to cultivate a sense of awe and transcendence. And that's about the appreciation of beauty, of art. Now we're talking upper level vibrational emotions. Art, beauty, they're way up there. And if we can live in those emotions, then we are truly the creators of our own lives. We can't create from a place where we think we are a victim, where life is coming down upon us. We can create when we are up in those higher level emotions, bliss, hope, happiness, gratitude, serenity. All of those things are upper level emotions, and they help us transcend appearances and see beyond our appearances to the divine within us. And we are all divine expressions of spirit, every single one of us. And how we manifest that into the world, we want to manifest it from those high level vibrational ideas of love, peace, happiness. I recommend that at least twice a year, and I think Pauline probably just did this, is to go out and sit under the stars. There is nothing more awe-inspiring than to see the universe, all the stars, to see the power of the creative force that we are part of. We're not separated from that. We are part of that. And when we do that, we really deepen our sense of understanding and our sense of our place in the world. And the power that we have within us is reflected beyond us in the stars. That is our power. That is a force of love. It is a creative force that works through each and every one of us. So, well, how to use what I've talked about? Go back. I really recommend you come and get the handout and do those 2 core value and character strength assessments. And then if you're not already doing it, and I suspect most of you are, work on that journaling habit. Really go deeper. Really ask yourself more questions. Really delve into what is going on. Why did I react that way to that person yesterday? Why did I get angry? What was that all about? Okay, so that's one thing. Journaling is a habit. And then the benefits. What is the benefits of deepening your power of understanding? And one of them is a deepening consciousness of the divine within you. You are every day expressing divinity. You are expressing the power within you. And the idea is to challenge yourself to live each day in a little more than you did before, because we have 2 things: to grow and to express more fully. Express more fully our true, authentic selves. And this is what the power of understanding really helps you do. It also heightens your sense of joy, all of those elevated emotions. When you're living and you're feeling the presence of the power of divinity within you, that lifts you up. That really makes you walk with that whole sense of you have a presence and a purpose in this world right this moment, every single moment, and every interaction you have is uplifting somebody else. And finally, it's the ability to trust your inner guide to navigate for you without resistance or friction. Because sometimes we don't like the answer we get back, right? And we go, I don't want to give up. I don't want to give that up. It's juicy. I love it. I don't want to give that up. What am I going to talk about if I give up that? Right? So our ability to allow or surrender to our inner guide. And that's sort of our task, is to surrender to our guide and let him or her do the job of moving us forward. Not trying to insert your own personal preferences. Michael Singer talks about that. We have this personal preference that we try to hang on to. And he talks in the Surrender Experiment. If you've not read it, I highly recommend it, because he goes through 40 years of his life and his experiment to surrender, constantly surrender to the divine spirit with him and let them guide him. Not try to force your way, not try to engineer your life, but to allow it to flow through you naturally, because divine has your back. It will flow through what you need at the moment. And that is part of being in the divine presence and really understanding the power of understanding. Okay, let's take this into to meditation. So what I'd like everybody to do is kind of wriggle around in your chair a little bit, get comfortable, And get your feet firmly on the floor. I want you to feel that floor under you, how solid it is. And now wriggle your shoulders and let them relax. Close your eyes. And I'm going to get you to take one deep breath in and hold it for a count of 4. So breathe in and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. Feel yourself slipping into that heart space, that sacred space within us all, where we all unite as one. That is the space where we are all expressing divinity within us. Let's do that breath again. Take another deep breath in and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. And just sit for a moment in that divine space, that sacred space, and hold it in your mind. And now I want you to expand your consciousness. I want you to stretch your consciousness to feel this entire room. Push out those boundaries of your consciousness. You are a huge being. Engulf this whole room with your awareness. And as you're doing that, watch for the lights coming on, the little twinkles of light coming on in the darkness as you expand, like stars showing up as the night sky gets darker. And those are all the other people in the room with you, expressing their unique presence in the room. And sit with that. Sit with those divine sparks. They are you. You are the divine. Hold that thought. I want you to take another deep breath in and release. Feel your feet on the floor. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes. And so it is.
It is a pleasure to thank Nick Grimshawe on behalf of all of you who I hope were as inspired as I was. I'm sure you were. Nick, you brought a richness to your message. I always love your great radio voice. I forgot how deep it was until you came today, but it wasn't just your voice, it was your message. Integration of mind and heart. And you did something that very few of our speakers do. You involved us by asking questions. And whether people put their hands up or not, I'm sure in their minds or their hearts, they were responding. I love the phrase, cultivate a listening place. And something else that Nick did that I've not seen before at Unity, I've seen it outside Unity, was giving us next steps, specifically suggesting what we can do when we leave here, how we can become more enriched. I thank you very much, Nick. It was a wondrous message. rich in content, and it came from your heart as well as your mind. So thank you so much. Thank you. This is a song that we all love here at Unity. We are one. And as we sing it, I invite you to stand.
I have a dream of what I wanna be. I wanna be free. That's what my heart keeps telling me. Give me your hand.
We'll find a way
There's people out
to
there.
feel the same.
If we help each other, I just know we can succeed. We are one, but we are different. We from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We'll be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. And we are unity. We are unity.
I do believe, oh, I believe in destiny. It's up to me to make it into reality.
Give me your hand.
We'll find a way
People out there.
that feel the same.
If we help each
other, I just know we can succeed.
We are one, but we are different. We from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We'll be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. That we are unity. No matter where you're from or who you are, if we can find common friends to be, then we are friends. We are one, but we are different. We from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. Oh. We are one, but we are different. We're from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We'll be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. That we are unity. We are unity.
And that little message at the end was leave the world better than you found it. That's probably my very favorite Unity song. Our treasurer, Kate, is now coming around. She doesn't keep the money, don't worry. She just collects. And Kate cheerfully does so much behind the scenes. So as she comes around collecting, feel free to add a tithe if you wish. We know that you share, many of you are sharing talents, time, treasures. Some of you share through online. You being here today is a huge way of sharing. You being here in this room on a very rainy day, on Canada Day weekend, and Nick being here sharing his message of love and openness says so much to us about we at Unity stand for. And we will share our prosperity blessing together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And please join with me in sharing our greatest affirmation. The light of God surrounds me. I am light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yay, God. And then we have a custom, as those of you who are here know, we join in a circle to share our final peace song. And before we join in the circle, right after the circle, I know that you may feel like talking to each other right away because you've been still for so long. But I do invite you to come up and share what you thought of Nick's message, or just to say hi to people online. Now it's sharing time.